So it was at a very early age that I first became fascinated with this idea of magic, this concept of an illusion that takes place right before your eyes. When I was about 4 or 5, I had an uncle who was an incredible cartoonist, and I would relentlessly ask him to draw me dinosaurs. Now, he would take this flat 2D surface and transform it with just a few carefully placed lines and create this creature that would stand up off the page. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It was actually then that I knew I wanted to be an artist. So, fast forward 25 years later, and here I am still fascinated with the same thing, but as a painter. So, with this magic, there's a special phenomenon that I've noticed has taken place, which I'll explain to you, something that I've been able to observe as a painter. So, as you can see, I'm painting on site a lot, all around the world, and I get to meet a lot of people. So I want you to think right now, how is it that you interact with strangers around you as you're out in the world? I feel like most of the time we walk through with our blinders on, our fears and walls and barriers to shield us. At least I know I do. I'm absolutely terrified of humans, terrified of all of you humans. But when I get to bring my paints out and start painting and get to work, all of that goes out the window. There's no more room for these walls around race or religion or gender or what your beliefs on gun control is. You know, we all just get to be people, and I notice when I'm painting, people come up to me and they're behind me and they scare me usually because I'm painting on my easel in deep focus. But they're just these curious children again. They just want to know what I'm doing. They're fascinated by this illusion that's taking place before them. They start up a conversation. And I would never talk to any of these people if I wasn't painting. So I've discovered that it's painting that serves as this catalyst for these genuine human connections. So painting on site is very vulnerable. You put yourself out there, and people get to come up to you. But I think it's when we put ourselves in vulnerable situations that we open ourselves up to incredible possibilities. So I have to get away, though, from all the people. So what better place to retreat than Montana? I find myself in the woods a lot, painting, relaxing, breathing. And it's here that I take all those experiences of meeting people, seeing new places, having conversations, different people's worldviews, and I feel like it all just goes through me, filters through me, and digests. This is a very famous outhouse in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. I won't tell you where it's at. And of course, I do have to get back out there and be around people again and get filled back up. This next slide is of a dear friend, Louise from France. She fills me back up. She's one of the funnest people I've ever met. And this whole connecting to people through my artwork, it's not just the people, the day-to-day people that I'm walking past in the street. It's also those people who've come before me. As an artist, we talk about the old masters all the time. So I got to sit in front of Rodin, one of France's most famous sculptors, The Gates of Hell. Sit there, and even though he's long since passed, I got to talk with him. It was like he was telling me about composition, texture, form, and his concept, just about life, really. One of my absolute favorite painters is John Singer Sargent. I was in London, I believe, when I saw this. My face was about 2 millimeters from the glass. The museum alarms are sounding, but I had just enough time to hear a whisper, like, put that layer down first. Then that. Then add this color to make that effect. It's like I got to know him a little bit. I stood before magnificent cathedrals that just take your breath away. Listened to thousands of voices that took 200 years to complete this thing. I just sit in awe thinking, how could human hands create this, let alone 1,000 years ago? Then there are those natural wonders that just take your breath away. I was here at the Tetons in the middle of nowhere, off the beaten path. 2 college kids come up to me. They're fascinated by what we were doing. He actually wanted to buy this piece. I knew he wasn't going to fork out $8,000 to buy it, so I actually gave it to him. He was so happy, and I was so happy that some stranger wanted it. Then there are those days that are just right in your backyard, up on top of a big mountain. Mountain in the middle of Montana, in the middle of the U.S. I meet a couple from Peru. Talked with them for about a half hour. Then you all are probably familiar with last year's fire season. the Sprague fire. This was about 2 weeks before the Sperry Chalet burnt down. I just got to sit at the foot of Lake McDonald and take in this devastating beauty with dozens of people from all around the world. So painting is this avenue for me. It's this thing that gives me a voice that allows me to connect with people. It allows me to forget my fears, even if it's just for a little bit. It allows me to become a child, that kid again who believes in magic. So I'm going to end right now with one of my earliest pieces. And it's here that I had this revelation of this universal excitement for magic. I'm going to read you a journal entry from that day. Thursday, March 14th, 2013, in the small fishing village of San Blas at the Central Plaza in Mexico. I've been using the 10 words of Spanish I know all day and have learned some new ones. Don't remember what they are. I had 2 kids come watch me paint and draw. We spoke few words, but had a couple hours worth of conversation. He was so kind and pleased with my painting that he gave me all of his candy. It would have been rude to turn him down, right? I took it. I really did. There were quite the number of people who came to talk to me. The woman police officer would make regular rounds to check the progress of my work. A man in dress clothes came and picked up my letter I had earlier dropped. He said he had been sitting in his office watching me and the kids for the past couple hours. He shook my hand and said, "Muy bonito. This day has been far more than any day I've had surfing thus far." I was on a complete dirtbag surf trip. Maybe this trip is about something else for me. All this experience today, has defined an aspect of painting for me. It broke barriers between all types of people and made me feel the same. Like a child, not hiding or fearing others around me. What freedom.